Hi everyone. When I was little, I always knew I wanted to study animals in the wild. I always imagined what it would be like to observe animals in their natural habitat, as well as better understand how ecosystems really work. Last summer, I finally got that opportunity. From June to July of 2025, I traveled to the Amazon in Ecuador in order to conduct my own research at the Tiputini Biodiversity Station. This station sits in one of the most biodiverse regions of Earth. Every day, we spent walking through this rainforest, listening to birds and insects, and searching the canopy for monkeys. At first, it simply seemed we were observing the monkeys go about their day, feeding, moving from tree to tree, and resting. But as time went on, something became more clear to me. What we were really watching was the future of the forest being shaped. Those monkeys were not just animals living in the forest. They were building it. The Amazon rainforest is home to many different species of monkeys, but some of the most important are the large-bodied monkeys. The large-bodied monkeys are important because they play a critical role in dispersing large seeds. When monkeys eat fruit, they travel across the forest and they defecate the seeds somewhere new. Not only does this determine where new trees grow within the forest, but it also determines how the forest regenerates. In a sense, these monkeys are the accidental architects of the Amazon. They don't intend to build the rainforest, but through their daily movements and feeding habits, they determine how seeds move throughout the ecosystem. Many of the monkey species in the Amazon share the same habitat as one another, but they don't all do the same thing. Different species eat different foods, move through the forest differently, as well as they can disperse different seeds. This is what we refer to as niche partitioning, when species share a habitat, but they specialize in different ecological roles. For my research, I studied 3 closely related monkey species: the red howler monkey, the white-bellied spider monkey, and the lowland woolly monkey. All 3 of these species are related as they are part of the same primate family and they share the same habitat as one another, but they behave differently. And it's these differences in behavior that not only allow them to coexist with one another, but determine how seeds move throughout the ecosystem. However, these large-bodied monkeys are disappearing across many tropical forests. Hunting, habitat loss, and forest fragmentation is causing their populations to decrease. What makes it especially concerning is sometimes forests appear healthy and intact, when in reality, the animals that sustain them are disappearing. This is what scientists refer to as empty forest syndrome. And that leads to an important question. What happens to the Amazon rainforest when the monkeys that disperse its seeds disappear? What trees will grow, and will the forest regenerate the same way? And what does this mean for the future of the ecosystem? Today, I'm going to show you that these monkeys are not just animals living in the forest. They are critical architects of biodiversity. And by observing and studying these primate species, we can better understand how they help build and maintain the rainforest itself. As I mentioned, I studied those 3 closely related primate species at Tiputini: the spider monkey, the woolly monkey, and the howler monkey. The goal of my research was to study niche partitioning in action. In other words, do different species disperse different seeds? As well, do they contribute to forest regeneration differently? To do so, we used several methods. First, we did behavioral observations. We would follow the monkeys around all day and we recorded whatever they were doing. Second, we observed when they were eating from certain trees and we recorded what types of foods they were eating. Lastly, we tracked them across the Amazon using our GPSs, as well as we recorded daily activity patterns. And it's these methods that allow us to link feeding habits with seed dispersal. So what we found from this research is that each of these 3 species play a different ecological role. The spider monkey in the middle, they have large ranges as well as they're a little larger bodied. Therefore, they can eat larger fruit and ingest larger seeds. They then move across their large territory and they disperse the seeds somewhere new. A plant we saw them eating a lot were many different palm species, in which the other monkeys can't eat them. On your left, we have the woolly monkey. They eat some of the same fruits as the spider monkey, but they differ in some places. They like to eat more medium-sized fruit as well as other parts of the plant, such as leaves and flowers. They then disperse the seeds across their medium-sized territories. Lastly, we have the red howler monkeys. These behave quite differently. They spend a majority of their day resting and eating leaves. However, when they do eat fruit, they disperse it across their small territories. Together, we can see these monkeys work to maintain forest diversity. But if one or more of these species were to disappear, this has implications for the long-term structure of the forest. However, This has implications far beyond biodiversity. A lot of these large seeds get dispersed by these monkeys, turn into large tropical trees. Those large tropical trees are capable of storing an enormous amount of carbon through a process called carbon sequestration. If these monkeys were to disappear, there is a chance that these trees will not regenerate the same way. Therefore, there may be less large trees in the Amazon. And this can cause less carbon storage. So ultimately, this has an effect on global climate systems. So as this research shows, monkeys are not just animals living in the forest. They are seed dispersers, they are drivers of forest regeneration, and they are the hidden architects of the rainforest. Without them, we see a decrease in biodiversity, a change in the structure of the forest, as well as the resilience of the ecosystem weakens. So protecting the forest means help protecting the animals that help build it. This includes reducing hunting pressures, preserving habitat connectivity, and protecting monkey species in general. When monkey populations remain healthy, seed dispersal systems stay intact. And when these seed dispersal systems stay intact, that helps support biodiversity as well as carbon storage. So the Amazon may seem very far away from us, but we depend on its stability for global biodiversity, climate systems, and the future of ecosystems around the world. By protecting monkeys, these accidental architects, we help preserve the Amazon rainforest itself. And in doing so, we help support the biodiversity and the climate systems that these monkeys help, that the forest depends on by these monkeys. Thank you.